So today's lesson is on subtracting integers, and we're going to do a really quick review on adding integers at the same time, and we're going to talk a little bit about the actual equations when you're looking at them and how to understand them. So I'm going to give you a quick equation. If I have an equation that says 3 minus 4, now how do I know what sign means what? So the first thing you need to remember is the sign in the center of the equation is your operation. This one tells you what you are going to do. If you're going to add, you're going to subtract, you're going to multiply, you're going to divide. Okay. Now, just because there is no sign in front of our first number, it means that it is a positive. Whenever you see a number with no sign in front of it, you just assume that it is a positive. Okay. So if you have another equation, and it looks something like this. Again, this means negative 3 subtract a number. Now, how do I know what sign that number is? Again, there is no sign in front of it, so I'm going to assume that it's a positive. So whenever there is no sign in front of a number, you need to assume that it is a positive. So let's look at our first equation. So the first equation I'm going to give you is 4 minus 8. And the first way we're going to solve it is we're going to use the number line at the bottom. I know it's not the best number line, but it's what I could do really quickly. So we are going to go from our 0 and we are going to move 4 spaces in the positive direction, because again, the number is a positive because there is no sign in front of it. So we're going to move 4 spaces in the positive direction. So we end up from the 0 to the 4. Now from there, it's telling us to subtract 8. So that means we're moving 8 spaces in the opposite direction. We're taking away 8 from the 4. So again, if you move 8 spaces from there, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you end up at the negative 4 being your answer. So that's one way of solving it. And this is the easiest way to do it with a number line. So I'm going to do the same equation and show you a different way of solving it. So if I have the same equation, 4 minus 8. How do I solve it? Using the method that we've learned with addition. With addition, we've learned that when you have the same sign, you find the sum, and if you have 2 different signs, you find the difference. So, when you're looking at a subtraction question, you have to do a little bit of a conversion to it. You take the first number. So the first number, meaning in this case, our first number is the 4. I'm going to take the 4 and I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. I'm just going to move it down in my equation. So I'm going to write 4. You take the operation and you flip it. So if it's a negative, you turn it into a positive. Okay, so you flip the operation. You also take your second number and you flip it. So our 8 right now is a positive. Remember, if there's no sign in front of it, it means it's a positive. We take it and we flip it, so we turn into a negative 8. And now, what we know when we do addition questions is when the signs are different, you find the difference. So because our 4 is a positive and our 8 is a negative, we are going to find the difference, and the difference is 4. Then how do we know what sign goes in front of it? We'll go back to our equation. Which number is larger, the 4 or the 8? The 8 is larger, therefore my negative sign is going to come in and my answer is negative 4. So I'm going to give you another example. So your second example, and again we're going to do it together so you kind of get what's going on here. And I have negative 4 minus 6. So again, using the equation, we're going to go ahead and flip it. So you leave the first number the same. It stays a negative 5. You take the operation and you flip it from a negative to a positive. You take the second number and again you flip it. It's a positive 6 up here. We took the positive 6 and we moved it down to a negative 6. When the signs are the same, you find the sum. What is the sum of this equation? The sum of this equation is 11. What sign do we keep? We keep the sign that is there, so the sign is a negative. So we keep that negative sign, and that's how you solve that equation. Again, we'll try one more, and this time I've given you the equation. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead right now and you're going to pause your screen, and you're going to try this equation out. Once you've solved it, you are going to come back and see if you've gotten it right. So go ahead and pause your screen. Okay, so welcome back. Now we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to use what we learned to solve it. So again, the first number stays the same, so the negative 8 remains the same the way it is. the subtraction sign turns into a positive sign. The -2 comes down, it gets flipped to a +2. And then when the signs are different, we find the difference. What is the difference? The difference is 8 minus 2. Therefore, the answer is 6. How do we know whether it is positive or negative? We find the one that is a bigger number. So is the 8 bigger or the 2? In this case, the 8 is the bigger number. The 8 has a negative sign, so your answer is -6. And I hope you got that right. Now, make sure you finish your subtraction homework, and I will see you in class tomorrow to make sure that you understood the concept.